Morning, Rob.
Good morning, Brian.
I am Brian Bernisconi, and I'm here with Mayor Rob Moore, and we are here once again this month to talk about your newsletter, which, by the way, as I was reviewing for this discussion, tell your friends, if you want to know what's happening in Los Gatos at a glance, essentially. It's a long glance, but at a glance, essentially, the newsletter or this conversation is a great way to just kind of like get your finger on the pulse and understand from a broad perspective the goings-ons of this town.
That's the goal. That's the hope. Yeah.
And that seems...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the goal of this conversation is if you're not interested in reading the lengthy newsletter, or if you don't consume media well from, by reading or what have you, this conversation should cover pretty much the exact same material in a more conversational format. And also, you'll hear a little bit more of my extemporaneous thoughts on things.
Right.
So hopefully
and a few
it's equally
of mine,
informative. Yes.
And I think it's great. And you do a ton of stuff for the town, and you're always everywhere. And one of the things you mentioned in your newsletter is, and we talked about this last month, if you want me to come speak someplace,
please
invite
me. I would.
You
love
do birthday parties. You do second grade classes. You do
I'm going to
Rotary.
Union Middle School right after this.
You're going to middle schools, right? And I think that's cool. I think that politics, local politics especially, should be brought out into the. Out into the streets, out into the public, out onto Main Street.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to go from the top. In fact, well, whatever. I don't want to get into it. Never mind. That's politics. Happy February. February is the Super Bowl.
Yep. Coming to town, which I think will be a big deal for Los Gatos.
Yeah.
I think we will have a lot of people here in our town watching. So far, I'm actually looking to the chamber to see if they have any places where people can view the Super Bowl, but a few restaurants are doing like big catering menus. So Heritage Pub is doing a big catering to cater your Super Bowl party that you're having at your house, or the Cats is doing one. So yeah.
Where is the Heritage Pub?
It's the new Irish bar, Heritage Pub and Chop House, where Los Gatos Bar and Grill used to be.
Oh, okay, got it. Yep. Okay. It's open.
It's open.
Man,
it's open. They're packed. They're doing great.
It's a good thing I talk to you every once in a while.
That's exactly right. Yeah, check them out.
That's good. Have you been?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, good. So again, we got the visual version of this newsletter. Why local involvement is the antidote to despair.
Yeah, and so I just shared one of the first piece I put in the newspaper has that title, Why Local Involvement is the Antidote to Despair. And I share that because I think there's a lot of uncertainty and fear going on in our community and our country right now.
Yep.
And if anyone is feeling unsettled or upset or fearful, I really do think that sinking your teeth into your community is one of the best ways to feel better about the world. If you spend some time with some Rotarians or some students who are getting involved in something they care about, cleaning up the creek or, volunteering at the schools, the world just feels a little bit better. And there's only so much we can do about the big faraway politics. And so getting involved in the local community, I think, really feels better.
Right. Definitely feels better than sitting at home watching your favorite news channel 24 hours a day.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay, so then we highlight your resident of the month. This is a new program for you, highlighting the resident of the month, a resident of the month, and a business of the month.
Correct. Yeah. So our first resident of the month was Dick Conrad for doing his creek cleanups. Actually, he brings together a group of people just about every month to go do. They clean up various parts of the town. So they clean up the parking lots, or they basically they do sort of granular levels of cleanup that the town doesn't have the capacity to. And so we're very grateful to Dick for that, and was honored to recognize him as our first resident of the month. And our first small business of the month was Beyond Text, which is our small local bookstore, who is just fantastic. Tanya, who runs the store, can get you anything you need.
It's a great shop.
It's a ton of fun. They have games too, lots of little gifts. It's a great place if you need a gift for someone. Check them out. So recognize them as the first small business.
I got a couple of bits and pieces in here that I bought from Beyond Text.
is great.
The Dick Conrad cleanup, where do you go to get involved with that?
Yeah, actually, he just has an email list. If you're interested in getting on it, you can email me.
Okay. And your email address?
rob@robforlosgatos.com.
Rob@robforlosgatos, FOR.
Correct.
Okay. Big ticket item here. I'm sure everybody's interested, and we talked about it last time, but we're talking about it again because it's important, is the North 40 Phase 2.
Yeah, so jumping into sort of the decisions the town council made over the last month or so, the biggest one was the North 40 Phase 2, and the town council voted to approve that development, so it's moving forward. And so
it's approved.
It's approved.
Okay.
There is still the chance that someone, a resident or a group, could sue and appeal it.
Okay.
But we haven't seen that.
That's not necessarily on the horizon.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything to that effect. So we'll see. And to that point, the big challenge with this is that state law, in my view, compelled the town to approve the development. So there was not a lot of ways the town could say no to it. And that's one important piece of this. And the other important piece of this, also related to state law, is that the town of Los Gatos has to plan for the development of 2,000 new housing units over the next, about 5 years or so, and we're already behind on that. And this will build 450 of those units on a parcel that 2 of its neighbors are highways. The other 2 are North 40 Phase 1 and another busy road, Los Gatos Boulevard. And so if you have to build all of this housing, I do think that parcel in North Los Gatos with, on a vacant piece of land, is the single best place to build a lot of housing.
Yeah.
And the project, in my view, is doing a number of good things. It's building 77 deed restricted affordable housing units. There's a 3.5 acre central park. It's going to be mixed use. So you're going to have, housing on top of retail and commercial. And so I think, given that we had to build all of this new housing, I think it's a good location and sort of project to do so. Now, it's not ideal. It's taller than a lot of people would like. It's at the tallest part, I think it's 7 stories, which is much taller than we are accustomed to. But there's across the street, there is the Stanford Oncology Clinic, which I think is almost 70 feet tall itself. So it's challenging. I take the decision very, very seriously. I recognize that lots of people are not going to be happy about this, but I feel like it was what we had to do.
And so it is. I mean, this is progress. You can't just keep stuffing people into this state and not figure out ways to accommodate them all. Yeah, great weather and a great economy tends to equal a lot of people.
Right.
Is it going to be like a destination spot? You mentioned a 3.5 acre park and retail, commercial down below.
Yeah,
I mean, is that like a place we're going to go and post up and hang out?
I hope so. Yeah, I really hope so. The park actually has a little amphitheater too. So the idea is that there will be like some live music there on like Friday, Saturday nights.
Until like 7 o'clock or something.
Until the residents say turn it off. But I really, at least for people on sort of that side of Los Gatos, I live on Los Gatos Boulevard. I live on that side of town, and I think it's great to have those sort of amenities for people that don't live super close to the downtown, where this is a little bit closer. There's going to be grocery stores and restaurants, and it was just announced that David Kinch, who ran Manresa and then Manresa Bread, the Bywater, he is going to be developing 2 restaurants in that development. So you're going to have really good dining there as well. So it's, again, I completely understand why people are upset by it. I understand if someone was in my position, they wouldn't have voted for it, but I think it was the right thing to do. And again, the last important part is that the town would have been sued for tens of millions of dollars if we would have denied the project, because state law compels the town to approve the project. And so that just wasn't, the town of Los Gatos' budget is about $60 million. If you take on one $20 million lawsuit, there goes your library, there goes your park services. So it's really, it's a balancing act, and it wasn't easy, but I think it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be people in support of this as well.
There were actually a lot of people who came to the meeting.
It's not all people who are against.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Okay. Enough on that.
Perfect.
Estimated completion year.
I think they'll start construction in like 2028. It'll be a long process.
Right. Yeah. Starting construction.
I think I would give it like a 5-year timeline.
Okay, so there's this police services report, and this was the question I couldn't remember.
Yeah,
I think discussed flock cameras.
Yeah,
and the future of potential physical space move for the department.
Correct.
Which, so those are two things.
Two things. Yeah, two separate things. So one, the easy one first is that easier, I guess. The police department comes every 6 months to update the town council and the town on the goings on of the police department. And one of the things that we've been discussing for the last several years is that the police department's space is really not ideal. They have, all of the operations folks are out of the police operations building, which is the building on Los Gatos Boulevard.
Right, over by Whole Foods.
Nicer, newer building, and with more space. And then dispatch and administration are in downtown at Town Hall. And so there'll be, from time to time situations where, the chief needs to talk to a sergeant who's in an entirely different building, and then, they got to call on the radio, and that's one piece of it. Another piece of it is the space at Town Hall is really less than ideal. It's just old. The building was built in the 60s. It hasn't really been refreshed since then. The building can flood. It did this past winter, and so there's a lot of issues there, and so the police department is looking at how to basically get under one roof, and so they're sort of exploring that idea and figuring that out. No concrete plans yet, but but there's planning going on there, so that's one piece.
Yep.
The other piece that was a big point of discussion on this.
I'm sorry, on the piece where they're partly located at Los Gatos Boulevard. That's like a new building that I think is owned by the town. Is that right?
Correct.
Is there possibly that they would be leaving that and just finding one central?
No, it would. I mean, maybe. I think the idea is more that you would expand that building.
Got it.
Yeah. Grow that building.
Okay.
And there are certain pieces of that building, like that building had small jail cells that were never used. We always just take folks that we book straight to the county jail because we don't have, sheriff's deputies who are trained to, oversee a detention facility.
You just throw them in the slammer and lock the door.
No. So
there's actually
whenever,
procedures.
So whenever we pick someone up, they go. If we arrest someone and they need to go to jail, we drive them straight from Los Gatos to downtown San Jose to the county jail.
Yeah.
So there's those things like that just need to sort of be reconfigured.
Got it. Okay, I'm curious. Flock cameras.
So flock cameras are they're called ALPRs, automatic license plate readers, and what they are is they're cameras that are stationed at a variety of sort of ingress egress points throughout the town. Lots of cities throughout California and the state have them, and they read license plates. The goal is to pick up stolen cars, and they do that well. And so when a car drives into Los Gatos with a license plate that has been, put out on an APB as, there was a major issue or this car was reported stolen, Los Gatos police are notified and can go deal with that person. It's a very good thing. They've been a great tool for the town. However, there have been recent, especially given the recent crackdowns on immigration, there have been growing concerns about the ways that this technology could be used for nefarious purposes. And so, both, I think, from that sort of the federal government overreach lens, and then also just data privacy more generally. And so the town council asked a lot of questions about flock cameras because we've been getting a lot of questions from residents. I do these monthly coffee meetings. I've had a resident that's met with me 4 coffees in a row to talk about flock cameras because they're so concerned
about their privacy.
Yeah.
And civil rights.
And the privacy of others, I think,
just generally, I think it's just our civil liberties.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be a conversation that continues to evolve. I'm not sure where it will go. I think the idea of having a camera that can detect when a car that is coming into Los Gatos to commit crimes passes into the border, I think that's a good thing.
Sure.
And so part of my concern is this particular company and some of their practices. And so we'll see where it goes. And so that was the conversation. I thought it was important to update folks that's an evolving conversation. I think the town council is sort of collectively evaluating where best to go with that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sure
More to come.
Yeah, no, that's one of the, it seems like a hot button issue to me, but we'll see, I guess, how that plays out.
Yeah.
So you got this, how we doing?
We're doing,
I forgot to set my thing. So
I think we're doing good. I think we're going for maybe
10 minutes,
10-15 minutes. Yeah.
Revenue measure discussion. When I see the word measure, right? Like explain why you're using that word, if you don't mind. Like many municipalities, California, Los Gatos has budget challenges. And I know there's budget conversations coming up. That's later in the newsletter.
Correct.
So these are tied together.
Correct. So the town of Los Gatos took action a few weeks ago to essentially preserve our right to run a sales tax in the upcoming election. Now, just my interpretation of the discussion, I don't think the town council, myself included, is at all sold on this being something we should do in the next election. So this is a revenue measure, means a tax measure, right?
Yeah.
Something on the ballot.
Right.
And it would be for November 2026. I don't think the town council is collectively convinced that this is the right time to do something like this. The reason we keep having these discussions about generating revenue is because we have so many things we want to do. We discussed this last time, that we have all of these emergency preparedness, activities that we would like to take on, but we don't have the revenue to do them.
Right.
And so it's a question for the residents of Los Gatos of how I mean, it sounds a little silly but how good of services do you want, right? Like that's the question.
Yeah.
And that's
going to be different. The answer is going to be different for different people, right?
Absolutely.
Depending on
so what do the majority of Los Gatos residents want for their sort of level of service? And I think generally Los Gatos residents have a high expectation of their government, as they should, right? And I try to live up to that. And so this is what we did at this meeting, was essentially said, we're going to work with some consultants and some folks at the state of California to look at all of the options that the town of Los Gatos could have for generating revenue in the next election cycle. Again, I'm not entirely convinced that we will do something. We're also a little bit, it's funny to say this, but because it's only January, but we're a little bit late if we want to get something on the ballot, because you need to do polling. There's a whole process involved to get it right. And you really I only would ever want to go out to the voters, once in my term. I think my tenure on the Los Gatos Town Council, to ask for money, and so you really want to get it right. And so that's what this was a discussion about. Are we interested? We said we would like to explore the idea, but I don't think we're convinced.
Okay.
Yeah.
More to come.
More to come on that one too.
Yeah. So stay tuned to, this is a great opportunity. Actually, it's later in the thing, but I'm just going to take a moment. If you want to watch council meetings on YouTube, KCAT, our local TV station, is broadcasting council meetings.
Yep.
And then you can watch after the fact. Right, like they're on there forever.
You can sometimes our meetings are 4 hours long, so you can jump to the item that you want and hear the discussion that you want. So it's a great.
Where do people go to see that?
Just KCAT TV on YouTube.
KCAT TV, just search KCAT TV.
KCAT TV
and
on YouTube.
They'll itemize.
Maybe
and tell
throw
you.
in Los Gatos, but it'll pop right up.
All right. Number 4, Tate Avenue is being rezoned or has been rezoned.
Yeah. So the town council just voted to rezone this property, and it's the historic firehouse on Tate Avenue, and right in the downtown. This is a property that the town of Los Gatos has tried to lease for many, many years, from before the time I was on the town council.
Can you tell me the cross street?
Yeah, is
it Main?
Yes, it's just Tate
Main Street.
Yeah,
Tate
exactly. Right near Happy Dragon thrift store.
Where the museum used to be housed.
Correct. So the museum used to be there, and it was a firehouse at one time.
And the situation with leasing it up, I'm just in brief, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. What goes in there?
Correct.
Because I
it's
know
in a residential neighborhood.
Yes.
It's a very hard.
So to have a restaurant
site,
or something like that is going to be maybe too much traffic, too much parking impact, too much noise.
Correct. And it's a historic building, and so there's only so many modifications you can do to the site to jazz it up and make it attractive for a retailer. And so the town council tried. There was a good faith effort to lease it out and try to find some sort of commercial use that retains the site. But the thing about owning land like that is you have a historic building, and every year that it goes vacant, it falls into further disrepair. And so the building currently requires, there are upgrades that need to be done there. And so what the town council has decided to do is enlist a broker to list the site for sale. Oh. And so the rezone was to turn it into a residential property to be sold so it can be somebody's home.
Got it.
Somebody's forever home. And there are a lot of historic, sort of easements we've put on the site. So the front facade that faces the street is going to stay pretty much the same, but then someone could, renovate the inside, change the back side of it. They could even put an ADU, or it's a big parking lot. So there's a lot of opportunity there. And the town council decided, with our budget woes and all these things, this was the right thing to do.
Yeah, right, because it's an ongoing expense and liability, and it's not probably going to get leased up in the
and
manner
the lease
that you
isn't
hope.
that valuable either, right? It's going to be max like $10,000 a month, and we tried at that amount, nobody went for it. And so the $3+ million of cash that we can get for the site is just more valuable.
Well, and it's in a residential area, right? It's in a residential neighborhood.
The neighbors really wanted that to be a home, not a business.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a little bit late in the game by the time this comes out, but the next council meeting is on February 3rd at 7 p.m.
Correct. Yeah. And so this will, you'll hear this in my newsletter that'll go out on the 2nd. So hopefully time to tune in to the council meeting. And so, we have a few things coming up.
Yep. I don't know what this is. Maybe this was the one. Adopt a bench policy?
Yeah. So
there's no description there. And so, by the way, Rob hasn't released this yet. I got a preview, sort of like bare bones version. So I have some questions that I don't know the answers to.
Yes, perfect. No, it's good. We'll work through it together. Like folks do when they read it and get confused. So adopt a bench policy. Basically, the town of Los Gatos has a adopt a bench policy where residents in Los Gatos can adopt a bench. And that means they basically pay for the bench, right? And they either pay for it to be put somewhere or maintained or what have you. And they put a little placard that says, in memoriam or for this family or what have you. A lot of the benches that have been adopted are no longer cared for, or the folks that were, that paid for them or whatever have moved or have passed. And so we're basically revisiting this to figure out the best way to make sure we're, taking care of our public assets, our benches, and giving people in town the opportunity to participate in this cool program. There's a ton of interest, and we actually have a limited amount of, you can't put benches everywhere. And so we're trying to sort of figure out the right way to adjust this policy for the future.
Is it possible to put establish a new bench, and is the process super cumbersome?
That's the question. So I think, I'm not sure where town staff are going to be recommending we go on this, actually. I haven't seen the item yet, but the goal is to put benches wherever they make sense, and if people want to pay for them, even better.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. Great events happening in Los Gatos during January. We covered the Super Bowl. You've got here also the Chamber of Commerce Sweetheart Stroll.
Correct. Yeah. And these are all happening in February. Yeah.
That's in February.
The Sweetheart Stroll happens on Saturday the 7th,
Yep.
and this is a Chamber of Commerce event that's basically a preview to Valentine's Day. So lots of businesses, have specials or deals. Think, you need to get jewelry for your wife. Head downtown and grab something great, or head to one of our chocolate shops or flower shops to get things in advance of the Valentine's Day rush.
Okay. Is that a ticketed event, or is it just a townwide event?
Yeah, townwide event. Head
Okay.
downtown on Saturday, and there will be lots going on.
Also on that same day is the Rotary Crab Fest.
Right, which is a ticketed event that evening, and this is one of Rotary's big annual fundraisers. I'll be there, and I've never been, so it should be a ton of fun.
Yeah.
And it's a crab fest. All the crab you can eat.
All the crab you can eat.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
and for a good cause. I mean,
yes,
for Rotary.
Exactly.
Okay. So data privacy, you're concerned about data privacy, the Delete Act.
Yes,
So this is a statewide act?
Correct.
So
that our
I'm
state
interested
senator,
in all of this.
Yeah. So our state senator, Josh Becker, he's a big, he's a super bright guy who has a mind for tech. He's worked in tech and really cares about privacy for residents. And so this will be linked in the newsletter. I don't have the link off the top of my head, but you can look up the Delete Act. Essentially what this is it's a website on the state of California's website now is just passed. Josh just passed this through the legislature this past cycle, and you can input your. It's a little funny and sounds backwards, but you input your personal data. So you put in your name, your address, your email, and they basically scrub you from a bunch of spam things, and they'll also let you know if there are concerns about you having gotten hacked or whatever. I actually haven't done it myself, but I want to share it. So people have access to that.
The irony is that you think, I have privacy concerns about going in here and doing this. Anybody that wants to know, it's privacy.ca.gov.
Perfect, you got it.
Privacy.ca.gov. And like you said, a little counterintuitive that you got to enter all this information. What if you have multiple addresses or multiple email? Do you know?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know. I haven't done the process yet, but I know our Josh is really excited about this, so I wanted to share it. Okay. It's a good resource if you're concerned about that, and it's free.
Privacy.ca.gov if you want to check it out. Chamber event. The Chamber of Commerce is looking for an events coordinator, so we'll just put a shout out that the Chamber of Commerce is in need of a part-time employee to help organize and implement chamber events.
Some of their major events. Yes. So if you have a mind for events, they're looking for someone to help out. They said about 25 hours a week on average, though I think that'll ramp up during some of those big events. And I'll just say the Chamber of Commerce staff are like the most fun people to work with. It's a super fun working environment. It's all people that love the community and they like to have a good time. And they if you want to hear the town 211, that's the spot to go, is the Chamber of Commerce office. So great people and a super important role, because we love these big events that happen in town, but there are people that have to put them on.
Yeah. You said 211.
Yeah.
I think you mean 411.
411. Okay, that's thank you. That's I think
that is a generational faux pas that I enjoy very much.
Jeez.
411 used to be a thing that you would call and they would answer like a human being.
Got it. Okay.
And they would answer.
I've never had that experience.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the 411, like we called to get answers, but I can't remember what kind of questions they would answer. I think it was mostly telephone stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. YSI summer camp.
Yeah. So this is just a sort of save the date that YSI is this awesome.
Yeah. Please tell me what YSI stands for.
YSI is the Youth Science Institute, and they're a Los Gatos based science youth nonprofit. That their office is in Vasona, and so they do this awesome summer camp for kids that is all science based. It's getting out into nature, doing hikes, touching animals, learning about the planet and all these these things. It's a great summer camp, and so they're starting to, it's again January, February, but they're already recruiting for their next cohort of campers. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Is there a link that you know of off the top of your head?
If you look up YSI Los Gatos, it'll come up.
You'll
but
find
the
it.
link's in the newsletter. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's YSI Youth Summer Institute.
Youth Science Institute.
Youth Science Institute. Thank you. Okay, we talked a little bit about getting cert training.
Yes.
Last time we were
I
here.
threw that back in here for this month because it's not
cool.
too late to register. Yeah, and CERT's an awesome program. Highly recommended.
Yeah.
CERT, Community Emergency Response Team.
Community Emergency Response Team, CERT, and it's the training begins on February 24th. So you got a few weeks to get signed up and be ready for it.
And I think there's only like 5 evening sessions, 4 or 5 evening sessions you need to attend, and a Saturday graduation. It's not a huge time commitment.
Yeah.
It's also not a big time commitment at all to be a CERT volunteer or to be CERT certified. But it's a really good thing to do.
I mean, in the event of an emergency, you will have some training as to how to manage.
And you'll at least have the option. What I've talked to folks who are like, "Oh, I don't know if I could do that." I'm like, "That's okay. You don't have to. It's just if your family is safe and you're able to respond, it's a really good way to help the community."
But I mean, especially, I think it would be especially valuable for the squeamish, and I am one of them. That if there's an emergency, I was with somebody. Somebody else got hit by a car. He just flew into action. He knew exactly what to do, and I was just like deer into headlights.
Yeah. So it's good training to
stuff does happen.
Absolutely.
We also mentioned this last time that you're looking for youth to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Correct.
At council meetings.
Yeah. It's a fun opportunity for a student who wants to, get up in front of the town and say the pledge, practice their public speaking a little bit, and kids of any age are welcome. We've had, I think we've had kids who are 6 years old, through high schoolers. So
that's
anybody's
adorable.
welcome. And also I added for this year that kids get to say their favorite thing about Los Gatos or a fun fact about themselves, just sharing a little bit about who they are with the community.
Yeah. You have any kids just go on a little too long? Do you give them a timer or something?
No, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. Yeah,
that's good. Okay, so if you want to Pledge of Allegiance, or you got a kid that you think wants to lead the Pledge of Allegiance, again, you could email you.
You can email me. The link's in my newsletter.
Links in the newsletter. Yeah. Moving along, you are every month doing community coffees. I think every month or every couple of weeks.
Every month.
Every month.
Yeah.
So again, you can either email or get onto your newsletter to get a connection for that.
Right.
And community coffee is essentially a time for you. They're half-hour slots, or
15 minutes or a half hour.
Yeah. So you can sit with Mayor Rob Moore and you can talk about whatever's on your mind, right? And that could be any number of things. It could be these cameras. It could be the North 40. It could be whatever it is that you want to talk about.
You just
the
want
budget.
to get to know me. Yeah.
Yeah. If you have great ideas for how to generate some revenue, please sign up and bring that in.
Yeah. And this one will actually be on a Saturday this month because all of my Fridays are booked this month, and so it'll be on I believe Saturday, also this February 7th, just before the Sweetheart Stroll.
Yeah, got it. You have a small business spotlight in here.
Yes, I actually haven't identified who my small business of the month will be.
It looks blank.
Yeah, it is because it is. Yeah. By the time this goes out, there will be a great small business in there who we're highlighting. Yeah.
And you were at the second grade class up at Lexington School. I think we're kind of drawing to the end here, unless there's something else that I didn't touch on. That there's some bits and pieces at the end, but is there anything else that you want to talk about? I mean, we're getting 25 minutes in.
Yeah. I think that about covers it. And so again, this is if anybody has any feedback on this, please let us know. But the idea here is to share in an audio and video format, what you otherwise wouldn't get in town. So
for people like me who prefer to listen or watch, I think it's a great opportunity. So you guys can tune in. We're going to do this once a month. We're going to do it ahead of your newsletter, so that when the newsletter drops, there will also be a link to this in the newsletter. And if you aren't already signed up for the newsletter, you should do. Again, it's a great way to keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening in this town. Rob does a great job. It's not political. It's just letting people know what's going on, right? Like, it's just informative.
Yep.
So wherever you sit on the spectrum of politics, I still think it's something that's helpful in order to get the information about what's
Absolutely.
happening.
I said this in my swearing-in speech. I strive to be mayor for all of Los Gatos, no matter who you are, and so I really try to embody that.
Totally. I think you do a great job. Anything else?
No. Thanks, Brian.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks for listening.